Meech Home concert got the streets talking. The biggest Meech Home, the streets back. That's what I'm talking about. That's how real niggas come home and get it down.
Yes, Charleston White is correct. I'm a rapper, not a dealer. Be sure to catch my new show, 50 Cent, 50 Ways to Catch a Couple.
50, who own your masters? Who own your masters? I buy your masters. You ready? I will buy your masters.
Rick Ross is currently clowning hard due to rumors that he stole an incredible $120 million deal from 50 Cent, while Big Meech is catching strays. In his lengthy speeches, Ross talked about his successful films, big budget, endeavors, and empire building. Meech was beaten when it came time for him to deliver, though. Nothing ever arrived. No money, no projects, just idle chatter. Now that 50 is making his name a global joke, he appears to be broke. The animosity has gotten so bad that supporters are basically stating that Meech throwing hands with 50 himself in a ring is the only way to end it. Is that interaction conceivable? However, let's go back to the beginning of the entire situation.
I do want to do a BMF film because you've been entertained by a lackluster, small budget series. Now it's time to do a big budget film. Which director? Shout out to my homie F. Gary Gray, Antoine Foucault, what's up? Tarantino. There's a lot of legends. This is gonna be big, I can feel it.
Big Meech believed he would eventually return to the streets once he had left them. Big bags, deals with Hollywood, and finally a true account of his experience. Then Rick Ross entered the stage. They slickly talked about a supposedly $120 million film venture while flaunting their wealth. He seemed to have the ability to change the course of history with his promises to the globe about blockbusters, movies, and other agreements. Meech was in a position to capitalize on his illustrious reputation. However, Rick Ross never truly lived up to expectations, which is an unfortunate reality, in order to further his ongoing feud with 50 Cent. He recreated the entire poem, utilizing Meech's legacy as a cheap prop. Ross was preoccupied with his fictitious Hollywood dreams. During the power struggle, 50 was the only one who actually supported his claims. He was responsible for paying for Lil Meech's acting classes, providing him with a real stage on which to shine, and making a genuine financial contribution to the BMF performance. Ross was ultimately nothing more than a marketing stunt that made false claims and leveraged Meech's name. There is no louder difference than this one. In reality, the first man was bluffing and the other was building. Not only does 50 Cent claim to have accepted full responsibility, many in Meech's close circle agree with that as well. As per the latest rumors, Big Meech is broke, attractive, and now realizing that Ross only dated him to get a better look. Therein lies the true shame. Like a pawn in someone else's war, Meech is stuck despite his desire to level up, and the worst is yet to come. It was only a prelude to the promises that were not fulfilled. The real mayhem began when Meech's own son was seen hanging out with Ross at the club on tape. Think about this. A few days following the release of the stolen texts online, Lil Meech was reportedly shouting "F Ross." He unexpectedly finds himself standing beside him in the club. What on earth does that sum up to? A lot of people saw the video online. There are flashing cameras and glowing red lights. For pictures, Ross and Lil Meech are clitched, posing and whispering as though nothing had happened. Lil Meech was accused of being ambivalent, doubting commitment, and making it up by irate followers. Of course, 50 Cent couldn't overlook that particular incident. He instantly took to the internet to make fun of his joke in a manner that only those in their 50s are capable of. According to reports, Ross asked Lil Meech for his father's address so that he might deliver some complimentary Wingstop wings. Imagine that? 50. Barbaric turns your ugly family argument into a universally funny joke about fast food. However, that was more than just a haphazard 50-word joke about Wingstop. It served as a warning. He was essentially saying that Ross isn't giving Meech any chances. All he is throwing away are leftovers and scraps. Listen to the bomb 50 threw on Lil Meech behind the scenes if it seemed nasty. Before deleting the statement, he surprisingly revealed that he had to send Lil Meech to rehab. 50 claimed that Meech was coming on stage all lit up and could hardly move.
Hey, you understand that?
Call my mom or somebody.
We'll do that after.
Okay.
All right, just turn around for me. Be cooperative. Everything that's video and audio surveillance. Plus, I'm on body cam. You understand that?
So, yeah, I'll do that.
Okay.
During a test of weapons, he even remarked Lil Meech lost his temper and puked right away. The fact that they allegedly discovered whippets in his truck just made things more bizarre. 50 said that until then, he was ignorant of the existence of whippets, claimed to have had to do his own study on the subject. And he portrayed himself as the mature, responsible older brother who was guiding Lil Meech, while his own father was reportedly encouraging the same risky behaviors. The fact that Lil Meech ended up in jail at an airport was more evidence of the disarray. Is it really possible to raise that many red lights before it becomes obvious that anything is amiss? When 50 reported the news, people were taken aback. The conversation abruptly stopped, considering him to be a mere trolling attempt.
I feel bad for Lil Meech. I don't feel bad for no grown man on this planet. Like, I'm a grown man. Why the f I gotta feel bad for another grown man? Like, you a grown man too. What you asking for my sympathy for? You be alright.
Fans began to wonder if 50 really saved Lil Meech's career before it was even released. Furthermore, if 50 really did save Meech from going into a downward spiral, why is Meech suddenly supporting Rick Ross of all people? At that point, things started to blow up even more, because it was a different voice that elevated it to a higher plane. Michael J. Rainey. He's Tariq from Power, as everyone knows. Without hesitation, he went live. He was directly questioned by an admirer. Did he feel sorry for Lil Meech? Rainey went full force and presented the camera with his unvarnished point, a view instead of sugarcoating or being impartial. The live video quickly gained widespread popularity. For communication, everyone uses blogs, shares, and reposts. 50 Cent was forced to participate, of course.
February 13th, the Big Meech benefit concert. It's gonna be iconic. Too many names to list, but let me salute some of the legends. Lil Baby, Boss Man D-Lo, 21 Savage, Sexy Red, Ricky Rose. Now, this the first time it's ever been done. Me performing BMF with the icon himself. This shit gonna be special. Epic. Get your tickets right now. I'm back.
He showed his undying love for his superstar by reposting it on his own page right away with one of his trademark funny remarks. Lil Meech was described as weak, unappreciative, and losing the respect of the whole Gun It and Power family circle at the age of 50. It appeared like doors were closing quickly and Lil Meech was losing the industry heat, so the timing was terrible. However, this is the point when people tend to forget. It wasn't all of this stress at once. Big Meech's so-called welcome home performance has been a source of ire ever since it failed. The streets were anticipating a spectacular evening that would feature rap legends, pyrotechnics, and the making of history. In essence, the man who made his life into a TV empire chose not to lock in with 50. Rick Ross was shoved by Meech as he leaned on him. That backfired right away. That performance never took place, and the final straw was that he began to accuse Meech of making agreements with federal agents after he kept making fun of him online. Another meme. After praising him as a street hero, Meech's admirers suddenly began to doubt who he was and his collaboration with Ross. All that was put on the fire was gasoline.
I wasn't going to address this because I'm not trying to let nobody trick me off the streets. but I never folded, never told, never will. Death before dishonor, always with me.
Meech had apparently abandoned loyalty in order to gain more authority. After 50 aggressively promoted the story online, people began to believe it to be true. Instead, fans stopped riding their bikes for Meech, who should have had a huge comeback. Meech finally lost his temper at that point. He clapped wildly in response. He slapped 50's face with a big rat emoji after publishing an old photo of himself. With 50, not subliminals or guessing games either, accusing him outright of being a snitch. However, he
Get back
didn't
against
stop
the
there.
wall and just slide down.
Meech went so far as to call 50 an online gangster, claiming that he only engages in online trolling while hiding behind a phone screen in order to escape actual smoke. Naturally, Rick Ross needed to add even more. He poked fun at 54 being resentful of their alleged relationship as he entered the dispute. The supporters believed it to be a tag team maneuver. Ross and Meech attempted to poke 50 more forcefully into his skin together. Ross didn't keep quiet. Instead, he made it known that he was traveling with Meech and laughing in 50's face. Now for the incredible twist. It was too clear for fans to miss the irony. Lil Meech received a platform, acting, training, and television exposure thanks to 50 Cent. Ross, however, provided just glamorous club moments and photo opportunities. However, it seems much more likely that Meech will support Ross because of this miscommunication. Ross's constant taunting and the rat emoji tweet led to the shocking notion that Meech was truly prepared to face 50 head-on. I assure you that this is by no means the conclusion of the story. Then tell me your thoughts. Is Meech turning away from his 50s at last, or is he biting the hand that fed him? Please share this video with your friends. Use the like button, leave a comment, and subscribe. I'll see you at the upcoming gathering. The drama is only going to get worse. Whispers discussion about 50 Cent and Big Meech sparring as boxers went viral on the internet. Some people said it was the final fight, a war to remember. However, many thought it was utterly depressing, claiming that Meech had been compelled to resort to clout chasing and celebrity boxing in order to remain relevant. The twist then appeared. Meech fueled the flames himself. When asked if he would ever throw hands, he suggested that he would put on the gloves if necessary, but he was only half serious. Things went haywire after the internet got sight of that clip. The boxing dispute quickly gained popularity after it appeared on blogs, podcasts, timelines, glamour shows, and everyone arguing about the truth of this fight. But Whack 100's contribution, his own theory, was what really set things off. The whole scene rocked when he released something. Themes in this story, he said, go beyond loyalty and rap feuds. It was a matter of profound secrets. Whack claims that Tammy Cowan, Meech's particular confidant, told 50 that Meech had previously assisted federal investigators on the streets in private. Boxing matches are the least of his issues, if that is accurate. The notion that Meech was not as dedicated to the streets as everyone thought was what was so upsetting about that claim. The worst is still to come. That's precisely where the 1950s snitch narrative started, according to Wax. However, he didn't stop there. Then he took command and added insult to injury by implying that Tammy had her own motives for leaving Meech. She felt abandoned because of his incarceration, several insiders said. He supposedly tried to reclaim his empire without her, and she became tired of it. It made people wonder, at any rate, whether Meech's decline was always internal and who was actually betraying whom. Big Meech's actions set off a chain reaction, but most feuds conclude quickly. Some say that 50 saw Lil Meech having sex with Rick Ross after giving him the keys. The treachery is clear. According to some, this has nothing to do with treachery. It's about outright power. 'Cause it's not only about winning, there are 50 plays. He will destroy anyone who dares to cross his lane with his style of play. Allowing Meech to get away with it would also seem weak to him. Additionally, 50 will never be weak. Imagine the fallout if this tension ever made its way from Instagram to a boxing ring. There will be more entertainment alternatives than just celebs. The battle will be vicious, or at the end of a fight that has already gotten completely out of hand. It appears like the first man is pulling things down for fun and publicity, while the other is striving to preserve a legacy. Fact that things are getting worse so fast also makes it seem less like gossip and more like the next big thing that will undoubtedly happen. I want to listen to you now. In your opinion, did Meech betray the guy who gave him everything? Or is 50 too much to say? Please leave a comment below to share your opinions. Press like on the button. Discuss this matter with your team. Clicking the subscribe button will ensure that you don't miss the next wild twist. I'll see you at the upcoming gathering.